The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.thebenjamindixonshow.com to register for our blog and join the Progressive Army. And now, ladies and gentlemen,
we are now about to witness the truth.
It's the Benjamin Dixon Show.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Benjamin Dixon Show. I am your host, Benjamin Dixon. It is Tuesday, February 1st, 2017. Thank you so much for joining me. You could have been anywhere in the world today, blah, 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 blah. Bruh, what the hell? I don't know if we're going to make it. You know me. If you come to my show, you know one thing is for certain. I don't go for dramatics. I don't go for unnecessary hyperbole. I try to analyze situations as even keeled as possible. And maybe I just need to go home and roll a J and just relax. But I don't know how we're going to make it through 4 years of the Trump administration. And I say it exactly like that because it's not just Donald Trump. Donald Trump can be impeached, and this same hyper-aggressive, militant Christian, militant, anti-LGBTQ, anti-everything that matters to progressives, anti-science, anti-basic regulations to keep us from poisoning and destroying the earth sooner than we're at a slower pace than we're already doing it. War hungry. I mean, they are bloodthirsty bastards. And I hope I don't know. I was going to say I hope you've been keeping up with the news, but maybe it's best not to. Maybe we need to just turn a blind eye for a little while so that we don't go crazy. Because Trump and his administration has lost their mind. What am I talking about? Well, I think the best way to demonstrate is to give you the summary at the top. And this summary is from, I got it from a guy off of Twitter, and he put it in, he summarized all the things that had happened just up until like 2:28 today. That's it. Not the full day. I mean, there are some other things that happened after this that I'll try to mention, but just so far today. I want to make sure I give credit where credit's due. This gentleman that's off of Twitter, I'm going to put it on your screen. Jeff Mueller, at Jeff Mueller. These are all the things that happened in one day, and the day isn't over yet. So let's take a look at what happened today. Pedersen was made Secretary of State. I think all things considered, that was the highlight of the day. Yeah, Pedersen being named the Secretary or passing Senate, that was the highlight of the day, all things considered. Then you have the GOP changed committee rules without to approve two nominees without any Democrats voting. Right? The House passed a resolution to nullify the stream protection rule regarding pollution from coal miners. Sean Spicer named the wife of the fallen Navy SEAL in a press conference. Then Trump flew to meet the SEAL's remains for a photo op. In fairness to Trump, I don't give a damn about being fair to Trump, but all presidents do that. That was just that's part of the morning. So it was leaked info about a call with Trump. Now, Trump's call with the president of Mexico revealed that Trump threatened to invade Mexico to deal with the bad hombres. This was today. Trump gave a Black History Month speech in which he revealed he doesn't know anything about Frederick Douglass. I mean, all things considered, that's the highlight of the day. Trump told the GOP to go nuclear and change the confirmation process for Supreme Court nominees. Yeah. And General Flynn directly threatened Iran. And Republicans moved part of the Dodd-Frank Act that barred public companies from secretly paying foreign governments for mineral rights. All of that was before 2:28 today, if you look at the original tweet from Jeff Mueller. Since then, other things that I found that Trump is doing, Trump is going to There's a draft of an executive order that extends religious exemptions and coverage for basically anyone, everyone, including corporations, including businesses, private companies, to be able to discriminate. And it would allow for churches to. I think I'm gonna end the show. I'm done. I can't even do this, man. It's that. And okay, so that was that. Yes, I can. I'm supposed to. This is my job. Then the icing on the cake on Black History Month is Donald Trump is going to refocus terrorism efforts or counterterrorism efforts here in the United States to focus solely domestically on radical Islam, with no attention to be paid to white terrorist groups. And before the show, I think I saw that Donald Trump is sending the National Guard in to remove the water protesters. I may have that wrong, but I think that's what I saw. And I'll try to, my producers are probably putting a package together to make sure that I discuss that. All right, that's day 12 in Donald Trump's America. And I honestly don't know how we survive this. Now, obviously, we fight back. We try to get the Senate. We try to get at least one house of Congress. It's a tall order. It's a tall order to get either one of them, but we have to. We won't make 4 years. We will not make 4 years of Donald Trump doing exactly what Republicans accused President Obama of doing, but President Obama did nothing compared to what in terms of scope, reach, or intent, compared to what Donald Trump is doing. Republicans accuse President Obama of ruling by edict and using the executive orders to fundamentally change America. Well, that's what Donald Trump is actually doing, and Republicans are celebrating as they go. I think I'm going to take callers. This thing takes a physical toll. I quite honestly don't know. I don't think I could talk about. The reason I don't think I could talk about it is because I literally want to go out in the streets and do something about it. We have to take action. We can't just talk about it. We cannot just talk about it. Call your senators. Make them fearful of their jobs if they acquiesce to Donald Trump. That's the least. That's the least that we can do. That's the bare minimum. Organize. Go out there, go to every tree, underneath every shade tree, go to every barbershop, go to every mall, go to every person that will listen to you and get them registered to vote. I don't care if they register to vote for the rent is too damn high party. We have to mobilize people who have never voted before. Democrats are not leading the way. Democrats are not leading the way, and you cannot depend on them to do it. We have to mobilize them. We have to get on the phones. We have to go door to door. We have to canvass. We have to do these things. We have to put boots on the ground. The Progressive Army actually has to become a political army for real, a political force that goes door to door and galvanizes hundreds of thousands into the millions of people so that we can fight back against the onslaught. We have to sit in this for at least 2 years. At a minimum, we have to sit in this for 2 years. Impeaching Trump would not do the job because a lot of what's happening and coming to the top is coming directly from Mike Pence and from Steve Bannon. So getting rid of Trump isn't the solution. Putting a lot of energy there is not the solution, because then you have President Pence, and President Pence is the person driving all of these social based issues that we thought were resolved, or at least we thought were resolved. And no, actually, I'm going to correct myself. It was a constant fight, but we never knew the extent to which, and I'm going to say one other thing here. Maybe this is a different clip. I'm going to say this as a Christian. I'm going to say this as a Christian, somebody who was born into a religious family, had no choice but to grow up as a Christian because my parents were Christian. My dad was a pastor. Start grappling with the struggles that you face when you ask questions when you're a skeptic, right? When you're a skeptic, you ask questions. So I struggled with that starting at like 12. All the way to the point where I questioned my religion, to the point I had nothing left of my religion except the fact that I wanted to believe. That's the entire basis of my belief system right now, Because I want to believe, and nobody can change that, right? It's like the leap of faith that the German philosopher wrote about. But I'm going to say this as a Christian. This particular brand of Christianity is a threat to America. Donald Trump, Mike Pence, Steve Bannon, evangelicals, the evangelicals who are actively involved in this and evangelicals who tacitly sit by and do nothing about it, they are a threat to America because they're willing to rip apart the very fabric that we have been weaving over the last, I don't know how long we've been fighting for justice. They're willing to rip apart the seams of justice so that they can force their belief system down the throats of everyone. And they wrap it in this peaceful language when it is very, very dangerous and very hostile. Those types of Christians, they are a threat to America. And I can't express it in any other way. They have an apocalyptic view. So even if their actions directly destroy America, and when I say destroy, I don't mean make us less popular in the world. I don't mean just having a smaller GDP than China. I'm talking about the complete failure of the American system, utter chaos. They have an apocalyptic worldview that they would feel like they have done the work of God in bringing in the age of persecution, the 7 years of persecution. It's been so long, I forgot the title, the official title of it. The 7 years of persecution, and they're bringing back the second coming of Christ. So their very actions of destroying America, they would feel like it's ordained by God for them to do this. They would feel like it's just revelations. They would just feel like it's Armageddon. And this is the brand of Christianity that has gotten into the White House, a very militant, very dangerous brand of Christianity that views that is its own version of Sharia law. These are the pastors who aren't content enough with living in a society where they can be free to preach that homosexuality is a sin, so long as the LGBTQ community is free to live outside of their sermons, right? That's the balance. That's the best balance we can expect from the Constitution for people who want to believe and preach and teach whatever they want to believe, preach and teach about LGBTQ rights and gay marriage and all. They're free to preach that in their pulpits. Fine, right? The Constitution protects that, but that's not enough. They don't want the freedom to preach in their pulpits. They want the freedom to oppress other people, to not have to live, to live according to their biblical doctrine. I grew up around them, so I know them very well. I know them, and they are a threat to America. And if you're a threat to America, you're a threat to humanity, right? Let's just talk about the whole ball game. America is the ball game. America is too big to fail. Once you add nuclear weapons into the equation, America, our world order, like this is the bad news I often have for progressives. In a lot of ways, our world order is too big to fail. The only way we change our world order is going through an apocalyptic event and then coming on the other side and coming out of our caves and caverns and bunkers and trying to form a new world order, right? We are too big to fail. And so these Christians, these militant, dangerous preachers who feel that it is their God required duty to oppress. It's like they're obsessed with the LGBTQ community, right? I mean, we talked about this before. Out of all the things that they're supposed to be preaching about, they focus with a laser-like attention on the LGBTQ community, and they they are so obsessed with it that they can't live in a society where people can come to their restaurant that's a secular restaurant that is a for-profit business and get service. They feel like that's an affront to their Christianity. And they want to complain about radical Muslims and radical Islam when you've got Christian preachers running around here talking about how the LGBT, the Pulse nightclub was God's work and that they need to be killed. And you want to complain about radical Islam? So it's up to people like me. It's, I feel like it's the same exact conversation we have with moderate Muslims and say, hey, moderate Muslims, you need to talk to your radical elements because the radical elements is really undermining the moderate position and it's making it impossible to coexist with religion. So it's up to people like me, but I don't really have the tolerance and the patience for it because I'll just bitch slap them. So somebody better than me, somebody stronger than me, somebody who doesn't lose their temper as much as me. I don't really lose my temper that much, but still. Somebody who actually has the patience for that. But we're beyond that point. Here's where we are. We're at the point where President Trump has an executive order in draft form where he's getting ready to expand the definition of a religious institution or religious organization to include corporations and corporations, that for-profit corporations, so that, like with the Hobby Lobby decision, that corporation takes on the religious identity of the owners, and therefore they're able to discriminate. Not only this executive order goes even further than, and we'll discuss it a little more. I'm going to take this call because I really I don't know. It's like it's time to get to work. It's not even time to talk about this anymore. It's time to hit the streets. It's time to knock on doors. It's time to recruit. It's time to find it's time to get the people who have been disillusioned with America for so long that they never participated and wake them up from their stupor and help them to realize that it's now or never. It's we fight back, and I don't care who we're fighting against. Joe Manchin, West Virginia. To me, he's someone we have to fight against. He's someone that needs to not only be primaried, but needs to be put out of politics in general because he is acquiescing. He's co-signing on Donald Trump's agenda. And he's not only co-signing, but he's undermining the resistance. All right, caller. You've been patient. What's your name, comment, and or question?
Hey, Ben. This is Brianna.
Hey, Brianna. How's it going?
I'm pretty good. I feel exhausted right now. Just all this news. It's like he's like draining the life out of the public right now.
Yep.
And I can't comment on the religion aspect because I'm not religious myself.
No
I'm
problem.
not,
It's cool.
I'm
Just whatever's on your mind is good. It probably helped me out. What's on your mind?
Basically, my mind is on right now the Democrat Party as a whole, and the only thing I've been thinking about is where the hell are the FDRs of the Democratic Party? Because I've been looking up a lot of history on FDR himself, and when you look at him as a president, and when you look at all the policies put into place and the tactics, I'm not talking about his policies. I'm talking more about tactics. Like the guy was a ruthless mother effer. He was manipulated. He was a genuine monster.
Yep.
So he did good things for people. He did horrible things during the war too. Can't leave that out.
Yeah.
But I'm asking, like, where the hell is that? Where the FDR is the Democratic Party? And it's like, because he did not give a shit. Like he didn't, like, you know how Trump threatened to send in the army into Chicago, I believe, to help clean up the crime there and stuff.
Yeah, I saw that.
FDR actually did that. He actually sent in the National Guard to arrest CEOs and rich people and drive them out in their chairs and stuff.
Yeah, yep. Well,
and
you know, like, go ahead, finish that thought.
That's the kind of person who needs, or people who needs to lead the Democratic Party. I'm like,
yeah.
Now I feel hope.
Not
The
just,
Democratic Party, I feel, is helpless.
Yeah, yeah. No, they're in desperate need of help, and I'm sorry for cutting you off there, but you said so much that I wanted to jump in. Um, the Democratic Party is not equipped for this fight. Thank you, Samus, in the chat room. It's a tribulation. 7 years of tribulation is what I forgot. Yeah, I used to study it because I used to. Well, anyway, I'll talk about that later. The Democratic Party needs help. Not saying help as in then we should go in and try to fix them. Help in the sense that they're not equipped. They're not equipped for this fight, and then probably half of them don't even want to fight the fight because they quietly agree with some of the things that Donald Trump is doing. I believe Joe Manchin, you don't sign off on as many of the nominations as Joe Manchin did unless you agree with Donald Trump on these things. And so half of them are too worried about becoming the monster that they oppose that they're not equipped to fight the monster. They're not. The other half are complicit. Their corporate donors are the same donors that Trump has, or the GOP in general. Yeah, I don't think I'll talk about the story specifically. We've done hours and hours of research, but it's too heavy for us to just talk about. Like every single person listening to the sound of my voice right now, every person who's watching this later on, everyone who's whatever, the question is like, no, not the question. The call to action is we have to go and multiply. That's the first thing that we have to do. We have to multiply our forces. We have to multiply our ground troops. We have to multiply the people who are running for office, the people who are donating money. We need to multiply our money base. We need to multiply our email list. We need to multiply, and each and every one of us knows at least 10 people, or 10 to 100 people who did not vote and would be concerned enough about what Donald Trump is doing for us to mobilize them. Because Donald Trump is coming after everybody. Everybody. This LGBTQ document, executive order, he's coming hard. Now, whether or not he actually, because it is so draconian, it would allow, it's such an overreach of his power that I don't think it's going to stand constitutional muster. But he's putting in someone like Neil Gorsuch, who already agrees with the underlying premise, which is organizations that businesses, no matter what their status is, they take on the religious identity of their owners. And if that religious, and then not only that, but it extends the ability to deny services based on those religious beliefs. Not only can you deny people the right to get women to get contraception because of your religious beliefs, which is what Gorsuch expressly signed off on, but this executive order expands that to include the ability to deny services and including just their presence in the public square. Like the public square is no longer a secular square. And the only way you can have the protection of religion is to have a non-religious public square for people of all faiths and no faiths to participate in. But once you start making the public square a religious center, then you have fundamentally changed the nature of the United States, and you have put not only non-religious people at risk, you put Christians at risk. It's another problem of thinking that a bold move strengthens your position, but that bold move was actually quite undermining to your position. Just like Iraq, it was a bold thing to go in, shock and awe. And now we're chasing the specter of Iraq, of that decision every day for the last 15 years. I'm sorry, not 15, 13 years. All right, let's take the next caller. Caller, you're live on the air. What is your name, comment, and our question?
How you doing?
Hey man, I'm good, man. I'm gonna be fine after I get off the show. But how you doing, man?
This is Umar from Brooklyn.
Oh, I know your voice.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. But here's the unspoken word to all of us who are in the know. We know where this is going. We know exactly where this is going.
Yep.
It's a freight train, and it's running fast. And by the way, it's derailed. But the speed and momentum is coming. And this is why I'm going to constantly impress that I listened to Anoa today, and I see she's turned around a little bit on Twitter. We have the tools. It's just that what the young lady that was with Anoa pointed out, we don't have the together. All those organizations have popped up, bodies, every march, bodies, every rally, bodies. But nobody is centralizing. You know, like at the Lower Manhattan rally on Sunday, Chuck Schumer came out. Wait a minute. And there wasn't a force or a thing. So wait a minute, Chuck, didn't you just do a couple of things that were like kind of hinky? You know, it's like, you know, we have got to start. I think that you hit the nail on the head. We need a new monster, and we're it.
Yeah.
If the progressives have got to come together like Voltron. Yep. All the lions have got to come together because, see, you know, I know it sounds like hyperbole to go, these people are evil, they're monsters.
They're monsters.
And dude. I know on their side it gives them kind of an argument. Oh, you're a name calling. No, you're a monster. This is going one place.
Right.
And it's a hard road because we've only heard the stories of people who had to put up with things when they get to this place. Right. Now we're about to live it. Right. And not the Christians. And unfortunately, and this is not their fault, not a lot of the white hipsters who are out in the marches. I'm not trying to be funny, but we all know where the targets are.
Yeah. Yeah.
We know who the target's going to be.
The same people who have been marginalized for the last 200 years, 300 years in America. Like, it's the same. It's ultimately going to fall on us.
Now, there's a flip. There's a big segment of America that does not want to go back. The ones who don't care, maybe they're sitting on the fence, maybe they're racist as hell, but they want to go back to the 50s because this is something going to be taken away from everybody by doing these regressive policies.
Yeah.
And everybody doesn't want to go back. Look at how many of these companies are suddenly jumping on board the progressive movement. Now, they're not saying progressive. I wish people would stop putting down the word resist. I get it. I know a lot of corporatists are jumping on board. Yeah. But symbols, people. We've got to use every weapon. Every single. We can't be casting aside weapons because Chuck Schumer joined it. I don't care.
Good point.
We know what we got to do. We got the bodies, and I'm saying, why aren't there a group of progressives in these marches going, okay, listen, here's what you go do. Here, come to Ben's show. Okay, here, do this. Why aren't there? This is what I keep saying. I keep saying, don't bother with the tools we don't have. They got the government right now. We know what we got to do. Right now, it's a street resistance, numbers, calls. That's all we can do right now. But we can also build up our forces and marshal them and start dropping these petty differences. And I'm not saying that they're not important. Trust me, I am just as pissed off as all the so-called liberals and progressives who went for Hillary too. But right now, they're focused on, hey, we got to do something about this, okay? So we can push this aside for a minute.
Yeah.
And, you know, just remember, we have the tools. They're all there laid out for us.
Yeah. Yep.
All we got to do is start consolidating them. Make nice with people. Eat a little crow. Now, I'm not talking about the people who went off the rails. Make clear lists. Be like Santa. Naughty, nice. Progressive, non-progressive. No more shades of gray. This is what gets us in trouble because these people are not playing shades of gray.
Bruh.
We are.
Come on, man.
Oh, we got to understand the subtle differences of the... No, we don't.
No.
These people are crazy, and crazy is coming for us.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it at that.
Umar, call in every night, man. Call, because you're bringing me back from the brink. Like, I'm not without hope, but it's just a lot to carry right now when you realize the sum total of what this man is doing. And not, again, I want to be clear, it's not just him. Thanks for the call, Umar. It's not just him, it's his entire administration. What they are doing it takes its toll, and we're just in day 12. And so he's right. I don't think I have to repeat anything I don't have to add to anything he said, but you know, we have to put aside all of our differences and fight our skirmish. We have to fight our skirmish another day. We have to, because these people are playing for keeps. These people want a theocracy, a not even a theocracy, because a theocracy would actually oppose capitalism. So they want a perverted version, an even worse perversion than theocracy. They want a corporatocracy with a figurehead religion at the top that allows them to oppress people with whom they're uncomfortable. That's ultimately it. They're uncomfortable. They don't want to be in a room with gay people because, oh God, those two guys just kissed. They're playing for keeps, and they're fundamentally changing the way America works. And the Republicans are power whores. They're willing to sell everything they say they believe in for power. I don't think they believed in it in the beginning. They just want to hold us to that. They want to hold us to the requirement of bipartisanship. They want to hold us to the requirement of playing fair and playing nice and protecting the institutions and being, moderated in our tone. Listen, the way the Tea Party responded to President Obama's milquetoast agenda, and I'm not saying that to attack Obama. I'm still a fan of him. I don't know why I am. I'm a loyal dude like that, right? Got problems with him, but I still support him. But his agenda was milquetoast as hell. But the way they acted like it was the worst, it was tyranny. They acted like the world was coming to an end, and they want to rob us of the opportunity and the ability to respond to actual tyranny the way they responded to President Obama's milquetoast agenda. We have to set aside our differences. That's all we can do. We have to set aside our differences with neoliberals. And I don't know if we need to be the bigger person, because you have a lot of them still coming after us. And I'm not quite to the point where I'm ready to be the bigger person with anybody. So we need to have a what's it called? What's it called? Armistice? I forgot the name of it, but we need to have a peace treaty. Because we have to have a mutual peace treaty where we put down our arms and fight against Trump and take all of the anger that we have and let it flow. I'm sorry, let the dark side flow. Let the hatred, let it all flow. Don't apologize. Don't be afraid of becoming the monster, because we're fighting monsters. Our generation very well, because we're dealing with things that might be here for the next 30 years. Right. I'm waking up now. Gorshin, whatever the hell his name is, he's 49. Good chance he'll be here for the next 30 years. So we're talking about an entire generation. So here we are. Our generation is not here to move progressivism forward. Not now that Donald Trump is in office. Our generation is here to stop him from destroying America, and to stop his administration from destroying America. And I have to keep repeating that to myself and to you, because we think Trump is the target or Trump is the impetus behind this. Donald Trump probably hasn't put pen to paper one time since he's been in the White House. These are executive orders being fed to him by the most rabidly religious extremists that we know of. And their religion is capitalism, ultimately. Corporatocracy, corporatism. That's their religion. This is our fight. So yes, I would honestly prefer a pure progressive, if there is such a thing, if there ever could be such. I would prefer that. But you know what? We're dealing with people who don't care what type of brand of Republican they are, so long as they get this agenda shoved down America's throat to the expense of the marginalized groups in America. Caller, you're live on the air. You guys are working for me tonight. You guys are helping me tonight. Cut down your internet and give me your name, comment, and our question.
Hey, Ben and Jackie.
Hey, man, how's it going, man? Thanks for the call. What's on your mind?
It's not going well, man.
Yeah.
It's not going well.
Yeah.
So the name of this individual, what's his name? Gorsuch, something like that?
Gorsuch.
Yeah, well, I was about to say, it's stuck in his name, but anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
These strict constitutionalists make no sense in my mind. I mean, there's no one in the Constitution that even says that the Supreme Court has judicial review, and yet these strict constitutionalists believe in it. It's amazing. And I know you told me not to focus on the hypocrisies of the Republican Party because they're just trying to pass an agenda. But I just have to point stuff like that out.
Yeah. No, yeah, elaborate. I mean, elaborate more. Elaborate more for me.
Yeah, so you know how judicial review came about, and
yeah.
in the court case, it was an interpretation of the Constitution.
Right.
But nowhere in the Constitution it was written.
Yep.
Yet, these people claim to be strict constitutionalists
Mm-hmm.
and only care about what is specifically written and not the spirit of the law.
Mm-hmm.
So in their own self, it's a self-defeating prophecy, unless they want to get rid of the Supreme Court.
Right. It's an irony, right? It's this bit of irony that they're simultaneously claiming to be textualists or originalists, but they're very, very selective in which way that they are originalists, right? Because if you're an originalist, you would not extend the reach of the church into the public square, because if there's anything that represents the public square, it's the general government, it's the body politic. And when you start extending the church into the body politic, you are by definition inserting the church into the government. And if you're in a strict originalist, you would not do that. So they're very selective in when they want to be originalists and when they want to be activist judges, because with the Hobby Lobby decision, he's 100% an activist judge.
Mm-hmm.
Right
on.
Thanks for the call, man. I do appreciate it. The lines are blowing up tonight. I think everybody's got something on their mind. I don't know what I just hit. There we go. Caller, you're live on the air. What's your name, comment, and or question?
Yeah, my name's Jeffrey from Southern Alabama.
What's on your mind, Jeff?
I just want to let you. Just want to let you know, man. I feel everything you got going on as far as like when it comes to. I was a Southern Baptist, but then I went to be an atheist.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, man, you're going through a lot. I feel for you, but also like in Alabama right now. It's so weird because everybody's just so calm around here, even though all this other stuff's going on around them.
Yeah.
They don't realize, like, the bombs are going off around them.
Right.
So when I'm trying to digest this information coming from you, coming from the progressive media, coming from y'all, I don't even go to the TV. I go to y'all. And, man, I'm sitting at work and people are saying, Houston, why are you so stressed? I'm like, guys, you live in such a ideological bubble. I can't pop it for you. You shielded your own bubble. So when I try to help you out, it goes all left field. And the thing is, I really feel for people. I really do. But the one thing that keeps me solace in the middle of this torrential downpour of people that are just ignorant on all the issues, it only took me a year to get to this point. And that year was like hard. I stuck my nose in y'all's media, and also I tried my best to go through all the information. You do a great job, and everybody else does a great job that's in the progressive media. However, I have to say, if they hold a fundamental religious foundation, you're not going to reach them, because the very institutions that they grew up in have always taught them to believe in the institution of the right. And what I'm saying is that even when you go to a Southern college, or you go to a college, period, the very fundamentals of economics, and also the economics of capitalism are beating them back. They beat back any kind of Marxist or socialist ideas. So when it comes to the religious right and when it comes to the right-wingers, I have a hard time blaming them because I came from the same position, but at the same time I have to blame them because ignorance is bliss, but you cannot allow ignorance to keep you blind as a human being, period, and to blind your own anger.
Yeah. Hey, man, I appreciate that. That's you said a lot there. Thanks so much for the call. 857-600-0518. He's right about one thing I know about economics programs at university is that they teach you right-wing Australian economics as the truth, with not any conversation with regard to any conversation at all of any alternative. And like it really takes, it's just like my training. I've been trained in the worst. Now that I think about it, hang on a second. Now that I think about it, I have been trained in some of the very worst doctrines out there. I grew up in a Southern Baptist environment, and my only saving grace was that my dad was very much a justice-oriented preacher. And so I heard justice in the midst of religious dogma. Then I got my undergrad in economics, so here I am trained in, classical liberal economics, and, basically taught that what Bill Clinton did was the much better version of what every president should do. He was like the hero of our economics courses. Then I get my master's degree in international relations, which teaches you that the fundamental nature of the international order is conflict, and that we're bound to have war between, that's how we interact on the international stage is war for the sake of amassing power to a state. I've been trained in some really bad, horrible shit. and the only thing that can actually take you out of that is skepticism. That's it. I hate to say, I hope that doesn't sound cliche, but it's quite all right. All of these things that I grew up with and experienced and learned, they're great if you view it through the lens of skepticism. And what happens is you have the exact opposite happen. You have people who are religious zealots, and they are religious zealots for their particular brand of dogma, not even the dogma that's in the Bible that contradicts their zealotry, just the stuff that they want to highlight. And so they grow up their entire lives fixated on this particular brand of religion, and which is fundamentalism, right? Fundamentalism is the same. I don't care where you go. Wahhabist fundamentalists, you can see some similarities with Christian right-wing extremists. Economics, they believe it as a religion. International relations and war and conflict, they believe it as a religion. And if you don't view it through the eyes and the lens of skepticism, then you will just be nothing more than a zealot who is susceptible to whatever you're religious in church, you're religious in economics, and you're religious in terms of international conflict. Whatever your religious teacher is telling you, you're susceptible because you view this as a purist instead of through the lens of skepticism. Caller, you're live on the air. That's all I've got. What's your name, comment, and or question?
Hey, Ben, it's Nick from Oregon.
Nick, what's up, dude? What's on your mind?
Not much. There is. I want to first say off that, and you didn't say it explicitly, and just I'm gonna catch you back. Jeffrey from Alabama, you need to make sure that you are calling your senator, doing whatever you can from your area, because
thank you.
I mean, like I said, I'm calling from Oregon. Like, I don't have much influence in terms of super conservative states, but I got to call my senator, got to call my representative, to do all of it every day. But if we don't have people like Jeffrey calling in the places where it matters most, I mean, we're not going to be able to get much beyond, again, what we already have.
Yep.
Secondly, I wanted to point out / ask that, as you said, we need bodies on the street. We need people. I mean, it's time to get up. I mean, that's all over, but that even includes liberal places like mine.
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
No.
But,
thank you. You're bringing me out of my stupor. I need you guys. I need you all tonight. Come on, tell me what to do. Go ahead.
But yeah, so I mean, I want people to be out in the streets, and I want people to be doing things, but I feel like we need something. We need Umar says this. We need a symbol. We need something that we can all stand up for. And I'm definitely down for making sure that we all stand up, even if we're like quote unquote real progressives, quote unquote fake progressives, whatever,
right.
Whoever it may be. We need to all stand up. But what do we stand up under? And I did this a little bit earlier ago when I was traveling in New York, where I just kind of said, hey, you know what? We need to have a round table. We need to figure out what it is. What is our call to action? What are our priorities? What is our our go forth? What are we doing? And to get these people together in the room and say, hey, what's the plan? What are we going to do? So if I've already, proposed it, suggested it. I hope that, we can get people together to really figure out what it is, and ASAP, because we don't have any time left.
Yeah. No, I thank you. Thank you very much. You're right about that. Where time is crunch time is now. Right now, we have to fight. Okay, so I see you guys see tonight's show. I'm vacillating back between waxing philosophical because of how dramatic the situation really is and a constant call to action. Thank you, callers. It is a constant call to action. Everyone is a political activist. You are a political activist. If you don't know how to do anything else but pick up your phone and call your senator and make them fear retribution from their constituents. They are there. I mean, and it works, right? You have two Republican senators who are not going to vote on Betsy DeVos because people called, and they called in volumes that they have never seen before. So it absolutely works. They should not have a moment of rest. Listen, we're not getting a single moment of rest from Donald Trump's onslaught. So our representatives should not get a single moment's rest from our calls. So if you don't know how to do anything else, pick up, and I believe Solidarity.rocks. I have to get with Michael Solomon. He's either already completed it or he's putting it together, but it's a plug-in. It's something that you can go to our website and you'll be able to quickly find the phone number for your representative and go. You can go to one place, no matter where you're from. You don't have to even go to Google, right? So if it's not up, we're going to try to have it up before tomorrow morning. But that's the least that we can do. The next thing that you can do is we need bodies on the ground talking to people, and we need to talk to people who have not been voting, who haven't been participating because they've been asleep. And we talked about this, just a little context. We talked about it yesterday about how neoliberals are starting to get woke, right? It's a convenient waking, I guess, because now they can see the atrocities in Yemen when they couldn't see it underneath President Obama. Fine, let's put that aside. At least they're seeing it now. Likewise, you have people who don't believe the government has any effect on their life, so they don't vote, they don't participate. If nothing else can wake them from their stupor, Donald Trump's presidency has to. The onslaught, and we need to make it plain. We need two documents. We need a manifesto, but not more than 2 pages. A 2-page manifesto. Matter of fact, I'll lead the charge on that, and we'll get it done. We need a 2-page manifesto. Let me start a new clip here. Boom. We need a 2-page manifesto. First page showing everything that we stand for and represent and what we want in very short, succinct sentences that anybody can consume and remember, so that when we leave their presence, if nothing else, they'll have our 10-point plan and they know exactly what we're fighting for. I don't care if it's associated with a party. I don't care if it's associated with Democratic Socialists of America. Matter of fact, we should be the linchpin between all the organizations. That's what the Progressive Army is going to do. We're going to be the linchpin between all the organizations that are fighting back against Trump. The resistance, because there's so many individual organizations. We'll just pull them together, and wherever you fall, whatever your preference is, if your preference is Justice Democrats, go. If your preference is Democratic Socialists of America, go. If your preference is brand new Congress, participate. If your preference is, I can't even think of them all, there's so many. Whatever your brand of your preferred taste in activism is, there is a group out there. Impact. How the hell am I going to forget Impact? If your preference is Impact, go, participate, donate, hit the ground. But we need to make a really clear, succinct statement that we can use to mobilize the average person, not even the average voter, the average person that doesn't vote. And then on the flip side, page 2 of this manifesto, a 2-page manifesto, needs to be all the things and all the ways Donald Trump is screwing America in the ass. I'm sorry. I just, yeah, okay, I should have just said screwing America. But anyway, you get the point, right? We need to make it clear what we stand for and what Donald Trump is doing to undermine them, because they don't believe it affects them. Oh, watch this affect them, right? The easiest one is the executive order where he's going to be shoving a religion down your throat, right? It's not just the LGBTQ community. He even listed things that included like premarital sex. I mean, that's 99.9% of America, right? They'll be able to deny you services if you're a fornicator. So we need to very succinctly identify what we stand for. Nothing complex, nothing more than 140 characters per line, per sentence. Tweetable sentences, memorable sentences, what we believe. And then on the flip side, equally short, memorable sentences of how Donald Trump is screwing America. And we need to take those documents and hit the ground like flyers, door to door to door. Because that's the only way we're going to turn the tide in 2018 rather. That's the only way we're going to turn the tide. And that's the only way we can mobilize enough people to put the fear of God in these representatives and senators. And as we do that on the federal level, of course, we need to equally focus on our state levels, right? We cannot neglect. Democrats neglected it. Fine. That's their sin. We cannot neglect transforming because ultimately this is where we are. This is where we are. The real political fight that we should be having and the debates that we should be having in America, the Overton window in America should be between progressivism and neoliberalism. That's the argument. This ridiculousness that's coming from the right, this rabid, conservative, Christian, militant, this insanity that's hailing from the right should be out of the Overton window. That we are so far from getting there that I think putting in that context should show you just how huge of a hurdle we have to overcome. And because it's so huge, we don't look at it as if it's impossible. We have to look at it as though every single one of us has a role to play. Every single one of us. You who are sitting in your office at work, making 6.5 figures a year, you're doing good. You happen to like the Benjamin Dixon Show, and you're not really, you don't feel like this is you are political activists now. You who are sitting in the barbershop who doesn't really believe in America, doesn't really believe in voting. You don't think the Democrats are going to do anything for you because they've given you a long list of things they haven't done for you. You don't think there's any difference between Democrats and Republicans. This fight is coming to you next. You are a political activist. You have to get out there and work and tell the person that you're cutting their hair. You've got to let them know that we are in a fight that's going to take us back, not to just the 1950s, like the caller said. They're going to take us back to the 1800s. And if nothing else, if we can't agree on anything else, we can agree that we cannot go backwards as far. We're literally in the position where Roe versus Wade can be overturned. We're in a position where legalized discrimination is getting ready to be the law of the land by virtue of edict. We're getting to position, okay, Roe versus Wade doesn't bother you, LGBTQ rights doesn't bother you. Donald Trump is getting ready to focus the energies of our investigative forces here domestically to disregard, to pay no attention to white supremacy and white terrorism and only focus on radical Islamic terrorism. Now, that should bother the hell out of everybody in the barbershop because every one of us remembers very keenly what Dylann Roof did in the name of white supremacy. But no, Donald Trump, that's not important. What's important is Islamic terrorism, not the stuff that's been terrorizing African Americans since America was founded. So who's left out? Who's left out? You don't agree with abortion? That's fine. He's still coming for you. You don't agree with LGBTQ rights? That's fine. He's still coming for you. You don't agree that racism is a problem? Oh, his ass is definitely coming for you. Every one of us that are listening, there are organizations out there that need your manpower, they need your finances, they need you calling. Let's go. And there are organizations, and even if you don't want to be affiliated with an organization, it's very simple. Pick up the phone at the end of this show, or when you get done listening in the morning, on your lunch break, pick up your phone and call your senator and call your representative. Call their state office and call their federal office. Call their local office and call their Washington, D.C. office. That's what I meant to say. At a bare minimum, every listener of mine, we need to be doing that. And what are you going to say when you call there? It's very simple. This is all you have to say. Oppose Trump or we will oppose you. Is it? That's it. If you have more nuance, that's fine. That's your business. But make it plain. You oppose Trump or we will oppose you. Because what has Donald Trump done that warrants any support? He got us out of the TPP. Yeah, okay. Oh. 1 out of 100 is still, might as well get a 0. All right, last call of the night. Caller, you're live on the air. What's your name, comment, and or question?
Man, it's David.
What's happening, man?
What a crazy show tonight. But I hear you, and I think we all hear you. I wanted to bring a thread that and you have it in your notes right now, to your attention, because it's pretty much on par with everything we're discussing tonight. It's by Michael Salamone, and it's all about basically the grind of protesting, because the media is not going to always be there. You know, the spotlight's not always going to be given to us as soon as they get bored of us. So I thought you might want to put that on screen and, you know, show it. I think it kind of speaks volumes about what the fight is all about. And the other thing I wanted to bring to your attention was regarding another protest. Milo, I can never pronounce his last name, but the guy that got banned from Twitter.
Yeah, Milo Yiannopoulos or whatever.
Apparently he was supposed to speak at UC Berkeley tonight, and he was canceled because a huge protest went from a protest to what looks like a riot with fire and lots of. It's not pretty, but it does mean that people have fire in the belly.
All right, I'll take a look at it. Thanks so much, David.
People are willing to fight.
Thanks, man. I'll read this thread so this is from Michael Salamone. Michael Salamone, he works with the Progressive Army. He does his own thing, but he's been such a huge contributor to the Progressive Army. You should be following him on Twitter if you're not. Maybe not, because Michael Salamone would say you don't want to follow him on Twitter. So just to be fair to Michael, maybe that's not the answer. But this is what he's saying on Twitter. He said, before mainstream media gets bored showing protest again, we should start brainstorming. We'll need to find creative ways to keep cameras coming out for civil disobedience, keep the dance in resistance. He said, if you're organizing a direct action, be sure to invite the press, even if you believe, as I do, that they are the enemy. Fundraisers too, and don't be afraid to have some fun. This is a long haul. Do a $20 song. He's just giving recommendations for fundraisers. Finding time is tough, but once you start shaving off meaningless time sucks for passion projects, it does get easier. Be sure to invite everyone you know, even if they don't agree with you, even on evil social networks, even if the evil corporate media. As our struggle continues, it is a struggle to keep on front pages. Try not to lose hope. Make a little time. Make a little me time. Try to stay in the fight. Last but not least, he said they stopped covering Occupy as soon as they started. Left Ferguson once fires were out. Don't let corporate press move on ever again. I co-sign on that most certainly. But the strategy underneath. Because and I'm about to take my own advice, about to take Michael's advice. Strategy underneath is take care of yourself. Get active. Bring people along. Bring the media with you. And if the media won't show up, you be the medium. And we'll catch you next time.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.thebenjamindixonshow.com to register for our blog, join the Progressive Army, and support The Benjamin Dixon Show. It's Ben Dixon! If you like this episode, be sure to share, like, and subscribe.
Consider becoming a Patreon. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show and support The Benjamin Dixon Show.